Hey everybody, are back. And in the last session, we finished up with the song, which had been kind of a sidetrack that we took while I separately worked with Sparehead of bass to figure out why the console-like intro did not work correctly on real hardware. And we did solve that, but I didn't want to bail out of the song right in the middle, so I finished the song. But now we're getting back to the console-like intro. The goal today is going to be to get it attached to Classy, and that should actually be relatively easy. But before that, let's actually talk about what was wrong. It turns out that the DACs, the sample playback, they clip really easily. And especially it depends on how loud your samples are, but you would normalize them. At a minimum, I actually do more than that, but at a minimum. So yeah, there's talk amongst the people working on the sound stuff that maybe we'll add a limiter in there somewhere because it's a lot worse on the HDMI than it is through the what is it, a 3.5 millimeter, whatever, the mini. So what we basically had to do, let's get this screen on and I can show you. Down, oops, right. Where is it? There we go. In the sample playback here in the file around line 300, which you don't have at the moment, but I will, this, as it says at the top, this will be released, the source code will be released public domain, just not until it's done, or at least minimal complete. So, yeah. When setting the volume, one might assume that you want to turn it all the way up for a singular sample, but this is not always going to be so. In this case, FF being the maximum, 41 was the volume that we had to turn it down to remove all the clipping. Hey, no brew. Yeah, you haven't missed much. We're only 4 minutes into it. I'm explaining the bug that Sparehead and I had to fix in the console-like intro. So it looks like the volume here is also maybe linear rather than log 2. Is it log 2? Anyhow, volume is supposed to be logarithmic. I don't remember 2 or 10. Because even turning this down to where it's at now, it should probably be like, E0 or maybe even D0 instead of 4.1. That's huge. So that is something that is on the list to look closer at, but it is very much worth noting that the DACs clip easily in your own work when you're playing samples. Alright, I'm going to pause the music for a second, and let's go ahead and run the run the intro just to remind everybody what it looks like. And here we go. So in XMU, the volume levels are a little bit funky. Uh, yeah, that's the one. Um, but on the real hardware, the levels get a little bit closer to correct, and I'm going to, if I have to choose between them, I would rather the real hardware volumes sound right. So anyhow, but this does now work, not clip on real hardware, which is huge. So all that's really left is all the way down here at the end. Right. See, I've got this loop here. Uh, that really it does nothing except for just count the raster. This is the end. Um, and instead of all of that, what it should be doing, right, what it should be doing is just jumping to whatever the next. Well, no, that's not quite true. We're going to need to uh, use DMA to copy a little bit of code somewhere else in memory that's out of the way. I'm probably going to put it down, probably in the screen, which is, always a fun place to hide your code. Um, and then it's going to need to DMA the next program into place, and then it needs to jump to the start. For this particular example, I'm going to be using something that was compressed with Xamizer, but with minimal effort, this should just as easily work with uh, Mirage's. Uh, well, it's part of, I guess, the Mega Tool. That's what he calls it, I think. Because in addition to doing the IFFL, Megatool can also do single exe compression, and each of them have their advantages. Mirage's, what's nice about it, is it can deliver the uncompressed data wherever you want it in memory, including the attic. So that's brilliant. But something that Xamizer does that's kind of useful, and I will explain in depth, it can pack and execute basic programs. So as a side effect of that, what that means is if you feed, if you pack your basic program with Xamizer, and then you feed it to the intro here, it will actually put the intro in front of your basic programs as well. This is not for assembly only. This everybody can do this. Okay, so first we're going to need the code. Yeah, totally. Uh, all right, so the first thing is the code that does the DMA and the jump. So that, right, that's, so I'll put it here. No, it's not a macro. So it'll go under the super saw. This is the next. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing any indirect stuff, so I probably don't need to do anything with the addressing. But So let's see here. We are going to need a DMA job. Here's DMA. Ba, 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 ba. Mode. No. Move. Next. Frog. DMA, which is going to be a DMA copy job. We're loading it to 2001. No, that's the first one's where it's coming from. Okay, so I guess, yeah, it's basically going to be sample end, isn't it? Because that is where the next program's going to get copied in. So that I don't even know what that last true is for. I know it's relevant, but the answer to your question about running the basic program, no. What I'm doing right now is writing the part where it moves the whole program into the place it expects to be. That's how intros traditionally always worked on the 64 is at the end of it, it then copied it all, the next part of this chain into 801 on the 64, 2001 here. Uh, so yeah, the basic program theoretically, I have not tested this, and I'm probably not gonna test it today. But yeah, it should work real cleanly with basic programs, which I think is pretty cool because I would like to see using this intro become a common thing as, you know, kind of a cool identifier to give it character. You know, give it character. Ah, dear Lord. How do I delete that message? No. Uh, okay, well, that sucks. Uh, looks like we got a spammer here. Oh well, I guess I'm just gonna have to ignore him for now. Let me go check my macros, because I am curious what the full copy DMA job. Ah, okay, so all right. So this actually needs to be false. I am glad I checked that because it would be trying to, well, theoretically it could be a problem. It will be trying to write to I/O. Yeah, yeah. Yep. Yeah, there's no need to pay too much attention to the spammer. At least it was only in the text chat. There's no way for him to break in on. Well, I guess it's a good thing I don't have the text chat up on the screen. Although I am thinking about solving that at some point. Oh, you know what? No, we're moving it a lot more than that. Yeah. Okay, so we've got the sample end, and that is basically the end of the program. But then we need to yeah, this will do const. All right, next prog equals load binary uh, assets slash next. Now this it could also, instead of giving it a specific hard-coded name, easily have the real name put in. Which I may or may not do when we get there. We'll see. Okay, next prog. Oops. I forget how to. Oh, okay. I guess I. There we go. Okay. What's next prog? Minus sample. And let's see, where is it? Here we go. Ah, this part sample. Okay, so that should, when I run that, move the next program up. Uh, oh, I am in here, though. I need to make sure that it ignores the first two bytes. I think I can do that on the import. Ah, yeah, that's right. I think it's like this. Yeah, that should do it. Um, so that way it'll just automatically dump the load memory location. Now, obviously, what this does mean, since I'm ripping that out, is that you and the code shows this. The next program in the chain does have to be at 2001. Um, at least for now. This is actually really simple code, so it shouldn't be that hard to modify it if you want it to work a different way. I mean, heck, the vast majority of it is setup. Uh, in fact, yeah, this is just at line 195. We're just done with setup. So I think I'm going to delete this since I have it in version control. Oh no, that's where I need to. All right, so then this needs to uh, yeah, yeah, definitely. If you want to really maximize your effectiveness on the Mega65 assembly is definitely highly recommended. The C is awesome. Um, the advantage to knowing both is that then you can extend the C with fast code for the parts that the compilers may not optimize well. Because, some people have been talking about porting um, raycasting in C. And we have an example of it, although it's a very primitive example. Um, but I think what a lot of people that are talking about that are forgetting is that the most of the earliest raycasting stuff uh, had significant bits that were written in assembly, not in C. So it's important to get that maximum performance. Yeah, yeah, inline assembly is also very important for certain things that are hard to do, or the C just doesn't do it at all. In addition, you mentioned hypo and DMA access. It's also uh, important for mapping. And there was one other thing, but I'm not remembering it off the top of my head. But yeah, Calypsy, because it's C. It's the C language, Calypsy. Ah, now the name makes perfect sense. Uh, oh, hey, Maurice. Uh, so let's see here. Where was I? Oh, right. There was going to be no inline assembly at all with Calypsy. But it was like I was like, no, dude, seriously, for the Mega 65, we need it. We need it. Mapping was the huge one for me because I did a lot of mapping in Unicode. So yeah, inline assembly is just super important. Um, all right, so what we're doing here is we are running the DMA job. Uh, okay. All right. I couldn't remember how to run it. Yeah. I should probably actually just pick one. Pick one assembler and stick with it. I tend to right now at least, I've been going back to Acme for the really simple stuff, and Kick assembler for the more advanced assembly, and then yeah, I'll use Calypsy or whatever's assembler for it. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, it'll be really, really interesting to see how LLVM MOS works out once the compiler supports the 45 GSO2, um, because it's like it's under behind it. Other than on our part, there's a big team involved in it. So I love what like the heck HTH has done with Calypsy, but I'm real curious to see how it compares to LLVM MOS once it's full featured for the Mega 65. Uh, I think that that one's going to be another case where I'm not going to want to standardize on a single compiler, I imagine. Okay, so where was I? Run DMA job. What did I name that DMA job? Move next prog DMA. Okay. All right, so that will have then moved. It's now in place. It's actually ready for a jump, but I don't know off the top of my head what the jump is. So let's see here. Well, one of the people, Wombat, one of our people, is the one that's working on the 45 GSO2 support for LLVM. And don't worry about distracting. I mean, having conversation, that's why we do it as a live stream, is to, you know, it's nice to have somebody to talk to, so please do not stop. Um, but yeah, Wombat is the person that I know is working on it. I don't know how much time he has to dedicate to it, but he's the one that got it to where the assembler worked. Um, so hopefully it'll happen. And until then, yeah, I will continue to use Calypsy. What am I doing? Right, I am. Oh, yeah. Okay, I need a copy of Classy. And my intent had been to grab the most recently uploaded version. Uh, well, Wombat is the one that got it to where it is now. Don't know. I don't know if he will continue to work on it. Oh, okay, Maurice. Well, thank you for stopping by for the bit that you did, and have a great dinner. Okay, catch you later. Um, it's possible that uh, that Wombat moved away from that, but if so, that's I haven't heard about it, so I don't know. Okay, so, I think it was next prog, right? Okay, man. Blackstar's been getting crazy points on Classy lately, too. He's more than doubled the high score. Really impressive. Okay, I don't need that anymore. Um, okay, I think. Nah, yeah, totally, I get that. We have what time we have. You know. Oh, I was trying to interact with it on the streaming window rather than the actual window. Oops. Okay, so let's see how many errors we get, shall we? Oh, that's always a bad sign. It compiled without error. That's not good. That's not good at all. Uh, okay, so commit essence, but I don't quite have everything. Yeah, I will need to load this. Okay, so it's 8209 is the jump point. Yeah, that's that no errors makes me nervous. That means there's something wrong deeper than I can find. Okay, let's be lazy. 8209. Okay, 2011. You know what? I think I knew that. Okay, so the next step. Right. Next program. Stub to It's not stub. Stub to screen. DMA copy job. And it's from next program. And where is the default screen memory? Let's see. Screen RAM is at 800. That's right, I knew it was a weird place. I just couldn't remember why it was weird. But yeah, being where BASIC used to start's pretty darn weird, in my opinion. Okay, then 4 false. Okay. Okay, we need. Oh. Yeah, it's a weird place to put it. Yeah. Okay, so theoretically, I'm gonna. This may not be necessary, but I am going to move the DMA job into here so that it gets copied into the screen as well instead of just in case writing over a running DMA job causes problems. I do not know for a fact that it does. I could, but I'm just playing it safe here. Okay. You know, I think I might even actually just be using the screen there. I don't remember. Uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure that that layout is the same. I don't know for sure, but I do think the C65 layout was the same. Hmm. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I am using the screen memory here. Huh. Well, heck. That means that in here. Oh, oh boy. Yeah, let's see here. We are going to want we want to blank the screen while it's depacking because it's going to make it ugly, and I'd like to hide that. So that they call it BLNK, but I call it DEN. BLNK, of course, stands for blank the screen. I call it DEN for display enable. And the reason that I prefer display enable is because then a 1 in that means the screen is on and a 0 means it's off. Whereas if you look at blank and it's a 1, you would expect it to be blank, but it's not. So that's why I call it dead. But it's super, super not important. Definitely want a number, not an address. Okay. Okie dokie. That's a good point. Yeah, if you try loading a 64 program onto a C65, it'll definitely corrupt your screen. Just before we jump into the depacker, we will re-enable the screen. Yep. Okay. To the DMA job, and the DMA job is I can stub the screen. I can never remember the names of these. Stub the screen. And then jump to 800. That, I think that should be most of it. Let's see now. It should still build just fine. I don't actually expect it to work, but let's give it a test. Almost. Oh, that's right. I need to. I still need to do some of that, just not an infinite amount, because it needs to wait for the sample to play. And then obviously there are a few other things that get corrupted there. But let's start with just the timing. I'm going to rename this one to sample wait. Yeah, well, I guess it actually did play it because it was already in the DMA before it did the rest of that. And then it corrupted the memory, which was probably part of why the noise was so messed up. Okay. LDY. Or, wait, there's somewhere in the audio DMA you can tell if the sample has finished playing. Hopefully that works in properly in XMU. Let's see here. I think maybe we just check enable. D720. Bit it with to remind myself how the bit works on this. Let's add it in here. That yeah, yeah. The sound system is also evolving. Based on what I don't think I think that some of the documentation on the sound is still being developed. Bit. Don't care about that. I don't know. Do I? Okay, so then BPL sample weight. Again, don't know that this is going to work. We'll see. Ah, good. An error. Pretty easy one, though. Still. Oh. Okay. Well, let's see then. No, okay, so that is not how you detect the sample is done. Well, I'm gonna do it cheating way, and I know that ain't gonna work, is it? So it should be. How many samples we're talking? No, there's no way it's that big. Hmm. All right, let's see. 17,370 bytes. So I don't. It's been a while. I think I have this data in here somewhere, though. I already worked this out. No, I guess not. Okay. Well, actually, that's what I'm looking at doing right now, but instead of making it exactly 3 seconds, I'm trying to calculate it. Because it doesn't need 3 seconds. It needs. You're right. It's pretty close to 3 seconds. Let's see here. But what I want to do, let's make it a little bit closer. We'll make it 2.5 seconds, but we're going to use the PAL value of 150. So it'll be a little bit longer on NTSC, but that way it'll be done on both. How does that close? Huh. Well, I wonder. Wonder what's going on here. Definitely built. This is, yeah, that's okay. Okay. Hmm. Let's. Well, that works, but you know what? You were right, Nobru. 3 seconds. B4. Okay. Build it. Test it. Well, excellent. Yep. All right, so that is basically what I had planned for this session. So, yeah. Um, Before I actually update the version of Classy that's out on files, uh, yeah, well, yeah, every little bit of help, honestly, you're even more than the 3 seconds. Just being here to chat with is also helpful because not only does it give me somebody to talk with while I'm doing it, but also, like, if my volume were to suddenly cut out, whoa, I never did bring back the music, did I? If my volume were to suddenly cut out, um, then it's nice to have somebody here that can tell me that. Let's get that music back in here now, since we're basically done. Just a second. I need to come over here. There we go. So yeah, as we get to the end here, I would like to thank my patrons, especially the super cool people, Professor Falcon and Sparehead, and Gertchie and his awesome family. Love them so much, and I really appreciate all that they've done. If you would like to become a patron and support me, which would be really, really helpful if you can afford it, head on over to patreon.com/deathybas and check it out. Patrons do get did get a copy of the final of the song that I just wrote. That I just finished on stream. That will not be released publicly until it actually gets used in a production. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much everything. We'll go back to that screen. And, all right. So thank you again, everybody that tuned in live. Thank you, Nobrew Info, for hanging out. Am I pronouncing it right? Is it Nobrew Info or is it No Brewin Info? Yeah. Anyhow, what was I doing? Oh, yeah, thank you, No Brew, for keeping me company. Thanks to everybody that watches it in the reruns. I hope that this was informative. This will be something that I would really like to encourage us to use going into the future, just so that we got that cool little intro at the beginning. It will be released, as I said, public domain. Bruno, okay. No Brew is Bruno in Pig Latin, I guess, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember Pig Latin very well. Anyhow, so that's the end of the stream, guys. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll have it up on YouTube shortly-ish. Thanks again. See ya.